Hi, good afternoon. I'm here with Mike Roberts-Hodgson from Clearworld. How you doing, Mike?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Mike. Good. How are you?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Thanks for joining us on the Business Spotlight series. So if you could, just introduce yourself in terms of giving us a little bit more detail around who you are, what is it you do at Clearworld, and how long you've been doing it for.
Yeah, so Mike Roberts-Hodgson, I'm head of business development here at Clearworld. I've been with Clearworld be 4 years this year, and fundamentally, Clearworld, we are an energy reduction solution specialist. So we work with large corporates met in the main, delivering energy solutions, which for us encompasses getting a building working to its absolute best performance. And essentially, we do that by optimizing the existing energy consuming assets. So a client generally will come to us and say, actually, we're spending numerous amounts of money on energy, how to reduce it. And so we look at that from a very much a ground upwards scenario. So actually, what can we do within in the building? But then obviously now where we are in current climates, renewables and things like solar PV and heat pumps, etc. So it's a full solutions package, but will vary between different clients. I've been with the business 4 years. I've got a background of 27 years in energy for my
Yeah,
sins. Sins or enjoyment,
a
I
lot of
think sins.
experience there.
Yeah. So my main role is obviously engaging with clients and strategic account management for our large corporates.
How long's the business been going in total?
So yeah, business. We set the business up in 2020. So a
So
rather
you've been right
difficult.
from the start there.
Yeah, pretty much from the start. So a difficult time to sort of set the business up for obvious reasons in the COVID period. So yeah, 2020 tough for various reasons that everybody's aware of. 2021 sort of aligned to that. We had a couple of warm relationships which we managed to deliver some work into, because obviously a lot of our work and my work is client engaging. So yeah, came out of 2021, bumps and scrapes, but all good. And then chance to grow sort of from there, 2022, 2023, sort of onwards and next future years growth. Yeah.
So what makes you guys stand out? Because, in terms of this sector, it's a hot topic, excuse the kind of pun, I guess, with
Right.
global warming and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
but then you've got the energy bills, and is that the main reason people are doing it? And so how do you sort of stand out, for your
Yeah, it's
target
and
market?
that's why I enjoy sort of doing what we do. The reason we stand out, and the bit that I believe in, and sort of having probably a long yardstick in the energy sector and seeing it through all the ups and downs over the years. It's in the last 5 years, 10 years have been a really exciting time to be in it, because it's been on everybody's radar, and even more so in the last 3 years. For what sets us out is real the granular detail that we go into for our clients. So I think there's a challenge. You're right. The market is a very saturated market, and I suppose a lot of sectors are very saturated nowadays. So how do we differentiate ourselves? And the way that we do that is when we talk to our clients. A lot of our clients nowadays will look at low hanging fruit in terms of energy reduction, and that can be across a spectrum of, we've looked at energy bills, or we've done lighting, or we're looking at human behaviors. So for us, the challenge is actually how are we going to go above and beyond that, and what are going to be the additional benefits. So for us, our proof is in the results. And for us, we will always do trials for our clients. So we've got to prove ourselves before we can embed ourselves with our clients. So the bit that differentiates us is when we go to a client and say, actually, we think we can find something additional. We'll prove that, and the proof of that is in the detail. And when we start to, we don't just focus in one area. So we won't just focus on lighting or on manufacturing or on refrigeration, or we will look at the sum of all the parts, and the needle in the haystack, I suppose. So you're looking for the detail, and that detail, then when you start to equate that to where energy bills are and percentage returns. But yeah, we challenge ourselves, and obviously our clients will challenge us to deliver. And if we don't deliver, we don't have a client, really.
Sure. Brilliant. So you mentioned about the start of the business, 2020, and then going through that first year, second year, and then sort of coming out of that and growing more. What or how would you describe that business journey to date, if there's one word?
I think the word challenging.
Yeah,
And that's probably a word that a lot of people will use on the basis of you want to be going and engaging with clients. So for 18 months, it was difficult to engage because the nation had a change, to go from working in offices to remote working.
sure.
So a lot of organizations, conventional ways of doing business development have changed, if I'm being honest on that front. So it was actually the pathways to go and engage with clients have been the challenging bit. And still, and I think will always pose, it's always been hard, but it's been the challenge over time. Once we've got engaged with the client, that's has been great and straightforward, even just first point of conversation, because they like what we talk to them about and how we present our business cases. And a lot of it is again, to go back to how you present yourself and how you promote a new business in a sector where we've all the team have been in the business for a long period of time, but when you haven't got case studies and references from the current business, obviously then you've got to be able to prove in terms of how we start our process from desktop analysis, how we prove how we're different. But yeah, challenging is, it's a cliched response, but it is, you could flip that around and say actually rewarding, because it's been in a space where everybody has been challenged, but actually to come out of that, 3-4 years later with year-on-year growth, it's been really rewarding when we sit back as a team and say, actually, we started from here at ground zero to where we are now with the challenges that have been put in front of us.
I think
2 answers, not one.
that's all right. I think I may change the question there. So you say 2 words, so you can have the yin and the yang of how it is. A lot of people say roller coaster because of the ups and downs that things have presented, or as you say, rewarding, but challenging and rewarding.
Yeah, I mean, roller coaster frustration would be that roller coaster analogy for me. Because of that, it was up and down. All of a sudden you were back in and we could go and speak to clients face to face, and then you got into 2021 and we went into lockdown again, so you couldn't do that. But I just see that as a challenge, and the challenge you want to overcome. And actually, where we sit now, looking back on the last 3 years, I'd go, wow, really rewarding, because you learn a lot from yourself in those periods as well. Everybody had to change and adapt. You'll find I do. There's a lot of analogies out there, so there isn't a one word that covers it really. But I'd say for me, challenging. Yeah,
good stuff. Thank you. So, looking ahead, then, what does the future look like, and what are the challenges or the exciting times ahead for you? What does that look like?
Future looks good on the basis of probably what we've sort of said. Everybody, energy for once in my tenure, it's on everybody's lips. Whether that is large businesses, people in schools, across all sectors. Everybody's aware of energy nowadays. So from a business perspective, that's great, because you've got open conversations.
Sure.
And in terms of going forward, that's only going to remain. I look back to when the business was founded. The government at the time said, we're going to reach net zero by 2050. So again, there's that's up in bright lights now for a lot of organisations. Think, okay, what we're going to do? How should we be doing things? That word again, challenges, comes along, because what are the challenges to get people to do that? And I think, again, linked into where we were, it's capital investment. Where do organisations want to spend the money, and what do they see as a priority? So whilst energy has always been in the top 3, top 5 of a business's P&L, there's other priorities in businesses in certain sectors that need requirement ahead of, actually, we're going to implement new controls in a business and bring our energy costs down. Sure. So the challenge for us has actually been to work with our stakeholders, and then to sort of present the business cases to deliver appealing proposals that meet within their return on investment, and then actually, how they're going to find the funds to deliver what we set out to at the start. So finding the funds is challenging. Yeah.
Sure thing. Thank you for that. So, since you've been with the business, in the business from the start, what is the biggest lesson that you can share to date, taking all that's been considered so far?
I think ride out the hard times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're always going to have hard times, but if you believe in yourself and believe in what your product is and what your solution is, ride out the hard times, because you'll get there. I think that you've got to have belief in yourself. Certainly in a new business, in sectors that are very, very challenging. Believe in what you're delivering. Proof will be in the results at the end of the day. And if you believe in what you put forward, you'll deliver on that. I think also having the right people in the right team.
Sure.
People, but you need to say the obvious again. You need people to run a business, but you've got to have the right people. Certainly in a small business to start up with, in a startup, you want everyone's pulling together and from the same hymn sheet. I think that's really important.
How big's your team there?
We're about a dozen. About 12, 13. Looking probably this year to grow again.
Fantastic.
With the right people in the right places. Where are the skill sets? What we've got? Where are the sort of where we're falling down? And how do we look to grow in those areas?
Awesome. So what inspires you to do what you do? You mentioned about having belief there in what you're doing, and that obviously helps with resilience through the challenging times, stuff like that. But what's your inspiration?
To make a difference.
Yeah,
I think to make a difference, and to prove yourself when you're engaging with a client, to deliver every time. That inspires us, because you want to be able to deliver every time for a client. I'm not always saying you can do, but that's where you have to challenge yourself to be able to prove how you're different. Goes back to that first question: how do you prove that you're different? By what we deliver. So what inspires us will to be able to deliver for every client that we can come across. Plus, from a personal perspective, it is the environment. Not in my form. I'm in the middle years, let's say, not in the former years or the latter years yet. So I've got, my kids have grown up. My daughter is heavily involved in the environment ever since we could walk the dog on the beach. Has always drummed it down at me 25 years ago. And I go back to where we're currently at and why it's an exciting time to be in it. That inspires you now to actually, make a difference for my grandkids and the people that sort of come after us.
There can't be. That's one of the big inspirations to be using, is helping to solve the issues that we face right now. And
we all do small bits. We'll all get there, and that keeps us keeps us focused and do what we're doing.
Excellent. So if you came across someone who was just about to start a business and they asked you for some advice, and Mike, can you give me one piece of advice? I'm about to start a business. What would that be? I appreciate it's pretty generic because they'll be in a certain sector, but as a generic piece of advice.
Believe in yourself. It's sort of the second time I've been in this position with sort of startups. And if you believe in what you've got the experience there, and you believe in what you've done in the past, you'll deliver. Believe in yourself, and again, I think it's belief and having the right people around you. I don't think you can emphasize that so much. There's the right people they're gonna challenge you, and that's what you want. You want, even whatever position you hold in the business, whether you're at the top or the bottom. I have my philosophy is you're never too old to learn, and if that's somebody who's 90 years old telling you something, or it's somebody who's 9 years old, you're never too old to learn. But you've got to believe in yourself to make the business successful.
It's a great share on that, especially the being open to learning, and someone's always got something new or a new perspective, at least, to be able to show you, offer you, and make you think differently.
And it's good to be challenged. I think you should take that and embrace it. There's never a bad idea, is there? It's just when you use that idea and whether you want to process that idea. Somebody's idea might not be what you see, but it doesn't mean it's a bad idea. And you might revisit that, 2 years down the line. I found myself and go, do you know what? I remember when somebody told me that, and then all of a sudden you're using it. It might not be. That goes back to that belief in the timing of things. Sometimes it might not be the right time to do something, but in the future, So I think you've got to believe in yourself if you're setting up from the start.
The right attitude towards resilience, because it's not an easy journey going into business, that's for sure.
No, let's say times now where it's difficult for various factors. Competition being one. I think we sit in a space where it's heavily saturated. But you tell me a business that doesn't. Probably your business is in a similar sort of vein. So
That's it. You got to stand out and stick to your principles of business in order to make you different.
The trust and the integrity that people see in you and what you're promoting to them, those are your core values. You're not gonna go far wrong, I don't think.
That's right. It was a great note to finish on that. So lastly, any latest news around what Clearworld's up to? We've covered some of that, or even it's a case of sharing a website and letting us know where we can find out a bit more about you or get in touch.
Yeah, I think probably the latter really, Mike. It's, you know, we're at a time where the environment is extremely topical. Energy prices are topical. You know, there's a lot of volatility in the market still. You know, I think that's one thing that scares a lot of people. It's not stable. You know, we're at the beck and call to what goes on in the world. And because of that, we should all be paying at least some attention to what goes on with energy charges and looking at that transition into what you do and going from sort of, you know, from core energy into renewables. So, you know, for us, it's renewables have come down a lot. You know, if we'd have sat and had this conversation 4 or 5 years ago, it was a bit taboo because it was just so expensive. Now, it's a lot more appealing to businesses. But yeah, you know, the big impact is pay more attention to what you're doing with your energy.
Yeah. And where can we find you on the World Wide Web if we wanted to get in touch or people wanted to?
Yeah, we are clear-world.co.uk.
Awesome. And yeah, we can look you up there. Well, Mike, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. Thank you for sharing all that you've shared. And I wish you all the best for the future of the business.
Thanks, Mike. Nice to speak to you as well. Really enjoyed it.